To be a great storyteller, you must first become great collectors of stories.
Let's not create the perfect story. Let's create something that raises some eyebrows.
What you want is a story that goes, this happened, but then that happened. Therefore, this happened.
You have to practice because you're not going to start being a phenomenal storyteller.
If the price to be successful in your business cost you your personal life, would it be worth it?
I would say you got to go for it.
Really? What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppin'? Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about what type of value your business has, lessons from an amazing book, Play Bigger, how Kirk Franklin just sold us his new album from his documentary, and we didn't even know it. So we're going to talk about that and the new special that he has. The do's and don'ts of storytelling. Yes, finally, we're going to be talking about that as well. And you don't want to miss this new question of the week. Make sure you listen to the end. Moose, how do you feel about this episode?
Hey, special episode, storytelling, a must-do for every great creator, business, brand, wherever it is. Make sure y'all tap in.
Let's get into this intro.
2 kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And of course, this episode is powered by Ecamm Live, the #1 all-in-one streaming platform that not only streams on like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, that whole nine, but is amazing for pre-recorded videos, just like a podcast. Also is amazing for your Zoom calls, your Google Meets, any type of video conference that you may have. And we're giving away 14 days for free on us if you go to www.nickyandmoose.com/ecamm. That's ECAMM for that 14-day trial. Moose, how we feeling?
Man, feeling pretty good. Back home in my standard lighting. For those of you who listened to the last episode and noticed the lighting was a little off tick, so I'm excited to be back. I got on here early today. I was like, hey, I'm gonna make sure my lighting is legit. So I hope this is better for y'all watching.
Oh, it's...
And yeah.
And it's already dark outside, so it's not like it's going to like...
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, this is the good thing about, I guess, going into fall/winter. You know, it gets dark super early, so I don't have to worry about things transition midway. But man, can I share with you some lessons from the week? Can I share with you some pickups? Man, so y'all know, and by the way, if you haven't listened to that episode with Jabari, please make sure you go back and listen to the episode with Jabari from R&B Only. But I took his advice on, or suggestion on, listening to Play Bigger. Remember at the end we asked him, or you asked him, what books would you recommend? And one of them was Play Bigger, about designing a category. And the book was pretty good, especially for someone who was into tech. As you all know, right now, I'm super into tech, so I love the idea of building tech businesses, et cetera. So this book was really centered around that. But it gave, in one of the chapters, it gave 11 different questions that every person starting a brand or a business should answer to ultimately develop the facets of a great company, right? So I want to share a couple of those questions. And the cool thing is, on the back end of the book, they shared some ways to think about creating a category for yourself as a personal brand so that you can excel also in your career. So it was like covering both the business and the branding side, of the personal branding side. So I thought it was pretty cool, right? But here's some questions to think about. The first one is, and this is, again, a couple of 11, but I'm going to kind of start in the middle. It says, once you get your product or, service up and running, or your company in this case, other companies are likely to get involved to or hold on, no, let me go back. Other companies are likely involved to solve the problem. Wait, what? Why am I bugging out here? Sorry. Oh, here we go. Are other companies involved to solve the problem or adding additional value? Why is that not making sense in my head right now? Does that make sense to you? I'm sorry, y'all. This is not adding up correctly.
Yo, he's like, I got it.
Yeah, no, it's in my notes, but I'm just reading it. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, let me skip ahead, right? What it's talking about, and I can kind of summarize, it's talking about a product ecosystem, ultimately saying, are there other companies involved in helping you to solve the problem that you're trying to solve? That could be as simple as a legitimate other company, right? Like in the case of when we started First Extreme Execution, we were dependent upon another company to supply us with the assessments until last year when we ultimately developed our own technology, right? So yes, in that case, we would answer, yes, we're dependent on this company to help us solve our problems. You can also think about even the LMS or community-based platforms that you might use to house your people in, right? Whether that be you're housing your resources, your training modules or whatnot, as well as the place in which people actually go and check out your community. So that's other things that your company, brand, or business is dependent on to help you solve the problem. The reason why they ask that question, really, they're trying to get you to see if there's room for you to vertically integrate, right? Is there a risk that you're depending on somebody else to help solve the problem? So that's one of the 11 questions. My goodness, was that a crazy little runaround. But anyway, number 8, or the second one that I highlighted, is how
Did you say number 8 and then the second?
Yeah, because it's number 8 in the list, but it's really the second one that I told you it was one of 11. Gotta get this thing right. But number 2, which is number 8 in the list, but number 2 is really in more detail about the business model, right? How will your product or service change business for your customers? And that means does it allow them to do something that hasn't been done, which is a major value add, right? Like I saw you posted something about the iPhone and you said which one was the best innovated, which one had the most innovation, right? It's ultimately saying, hey, which of these brought something to the consumer base that has never been done before? Whenever you have a product or service or brand that delivers that, it allows the people you serve to do something that they've never been able to do. That's the highest level of value that you can deliver. Or, this is something we talked about a lot, does it allow them to save money or time, as well as increase their return on investment, right? A little lesser value, but still important, and important for you as someone developing that product, business, brand, or whatever, to really understand, what is my solution really doing? Is it empowering or giving people a chance to do something they've never done? Or, the latter. So between those two questions, and like I said, it's a list of 11, but really, really cool way to think about positioning yourself early on before you even get out there and start building the website and this and this and that. It's like, let me sit down here and just answer some of these questions. So just reading through that, I thought that was really helpful. And then lastly, probably almost to piggyback a little bit on our episode last week, it was around the personal brand, right? Building a brand. And it said, you want to build a reputation for yourself being known as a problem solver. Now, that could be a problem solver in many different categories, but the simple way to go about that is to either identify a new need, which, by the way, you've done that phenomenally, right? In identifying or seeing the opportunity in the space in AI and really running with that. But it says that need, you have to pair it with a skill that you already have, right? So it's like you're pairing the need with the skill, or you can do in reverse order, which is identify a skill that you have and find a need that solves a problem with that skill, right? So it's like you're ultimately trying to pair need with skill. So I like those, man. Those were some really cool, tangible takeaways from the book. Again, that book is titled Play Bigger by several different authors that are on there, but just some takeaways to think about when it comes to, first, positioning your brand and or business as you enter the marketplace, and then also positioning yourself as an expert and a problem solver, how to really do that in a tangible way.
Okay, I gotta read the book now.
Yeah.
I gotta find number 8, which is number 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's because I got on here. I was like, am I really gonna read 11 things? That's like a whole chapter. I'm like, no, chill with the 11. Just give them 2. So
Listen, I
no,
would have taken the 11. We would have bop, 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 bop. I don't know why I
30
did that. I
minutes
know
in.
Isaiah is gonna do something with that. But okay, I gotta get that book. Now for me, did you watch the Kirk Franklin special?
I did not. Someone DM'd me something about that, and I thought it was random. I was like, why? This
So
is
good.
kind of out of the blue. But I guess now that you mentioned it, it makes sense.
So good. Warning, if you have not seen it, there is probably going to be several spoiler alerts. Pause this, go watch it, come back. Okay? Just let you know. Okay, first off, TikTok will show you everything. All right? TikTok won't even let you go to YouTube. It's like, here's the whole story, right? So I actually saw everything before I went to YouTube and finally watched it. However, Kirk Franklin is adopted. Well, first, Kirk Franklin is like everything gospel. Like, if you don't know anything about gospel, you know at least Kirk Franklin. You may not know everybody else, but you know Kirk Franklin, right? And so his story, they start off with his story. He's adopted, right? And he heard rumors that somebody could be his father. So, and my man's 53, kids, wife, successful career, and took a DNA test. Mind you, not a great relationship with his mom either. Haven't seen her for like 20 years. And so, plan to have this conversation to reveal the DNA. So they talk about that in the mix of letting you listen to new music, right? Masterful. That, like, how they combine it, like, I'm in the studio, I'm in this time, this is all that's happening, but we still got to put this music out. Cool. So it draws on him finding out his real dad, his relationship with his mom, and then his relationship with his son, because I would say like a few years ago, they had a really bad falling out on social media, and it just hasn't been the same. So while documenting everything, he's slowly letting us listen to music. He's slowly getting us to connect with him, the storyline, and the music all at the same time. To come to find out that the day that this dropped, a new single dropped, and then an announcement of his album, which comes out October 6th. So what I found very masterful about this is that I don't even care about what the music is really going to be. I got so caught up in the story that I know this album was made through this whole situation, that I got to hear if he's going to release more information inside of this album. I think that was so smart, where it's like, okay, how do I be unique about releasing an album, but as well as telling my story? This is documentation to a whole new level. Let me break this down, right? I don't know if I go, oh snap, this may be my dad. Hold on, we're gonna record this whole thing. At this moment, this whole thing, because I assume this was like a year or two ago. This wasn't this year, right? We're gonna record every single. The second I heard this rumor, we're gonna record everything. Boom. Now this all makes sense. Now let's make it into a special. Like, that is a whole different level of creativity and transparency, that, because not only are you thinking personal, you're thinking business at the same time. I'm so confused. I'm like, not confused in a bad way, but just like, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy, but it's very masterful how everything is integrated. And if you like I said, if you haven't seen it, please go see it because you may cry. If you're sensitive, you may cry. Just letting you know. It's like an extreme tearjerker because you're like, really? Really? Come on. But shout out to Kirk Franklin. Like I said, album comes out October 6th. Go check it out. It's gonna be a vibe. But yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
Hmm.
You should watch it.
Interesting.
Hey, you should watch
Yeah.
it.
I still got to catch up on the. Man, what did I start? Oh, I started something on Netflix, History 101. Really, really dope. It covers just the most basic things and how they function or how they came to be that you wouldn't even think about. Like, for example, the credit card. The first credit card. How did it come to be? How did it grow to be this huge global phenomenon? Talked about the GPS and some interesting things around the GPS. So, like I watched a couple episodes in that, so I thought it was pretty interesting. It's like going through some of the basic. I still got to go back and watch the Steve Jobs documentary that you told me about too. I want to check that out.
Yep. And then guilty pleasure. I'm going back to Netflix. Love is Blind. New season came out. I'm gonna watch it. Okay. You get so hooked. This is the problem. Can I talk about the problem? You get so hooked on these people's stories. Mind you, if you haven't heard the trend of what we're talking about, just think of storytelling. Okay. But so have you seen Love is Blind? Have you seen it?
No, I'm actually on Netflix right now looking up like what's the
Okay.
yeah, what's
so
this?
so Love is Blind is a like a dating show, right? But this one's unique. So you get a whole bunch of random females, whole bunch of random males, and they go into these pods and they can't see each other. Like they literally have to talk and get to know each other for who they are. And they won't be able to see each other until one of them proposes.
Oh, dang.
Yes. Like it goes from 0 to married. So once you're proposed, you have 4 weeks to then get married.
And so after you see the person, you then have 4 weeks to get married.
Yes. So it's this whole thing.
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
No, I'm saying it's like aimed to really show the people who are superficial. It's like, oh, so you saw the person and you were madly in love with them, but now you all of a sudden don't want to get married. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, so you see that actually happening, but like you follow these certain characters and their whole like connection. You're rooting for some people, you're not rooting for other people, you're wishing people's down. It's so addicting, and it's like, okay.
That's crazy.
Right.
So they got it seemed like an international show. Love is Blind UK, Love is Blind Sweden.
It's a thing.
Love is Blind Japan.
It's a thing. Yeah, because it's like a dating experiment. You don't see them. And you don't see them for a while. Like I said, until you go, will you marry me? They have to, and they go, and here's the thing, they date other people. So it's like you start off here and then you just switch people. So it's like, hey, so-and-so, and then, hey, so you go on several dates.
Hey, so-and-so.
Every day. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
But it's funny. And so the new season is out. Is there any other Love and Blind people out there? Let us know. Let me know that I'm not alone in this situation. I can't be. It's trending. So yeah, it's a and then they do like a whole after show of like a year later. Where are they? So are they still married? Are they together? It's great.
Wow.
This is why I don't watch Netflix.
Yeah,
This is why I don't watch.
that's intense.
Anyways. Oh, I got something to show you.
Oh, live, like right here.
Yeah. I got something to show you.
Okay.
So,
Don't
audio
tell me
people.
you got the iPhone 15.
Hell no.
Shall not fear no man but God.
Oh, okay. Like what? A
No.
big curveball or something.
No.
Okay.
You know, so for those people, before we get into the creator of the week, for those people who remembered, we featured a creator of the week based off what he was doing with a sneaker release, right?
Mhm.
And yes, I got him. I got the new
Hello.
TS Air Force Ones Fat Joe sneakers. For those people who remember, these are actually low key fire. I ain't gonna hold you. These are actually low key fire, and they come with like black and white laces.
Nice.
So, yeah. So one of our viewers was like, "You never show your like collection and what you get." Like, so okay, there you go. I got the Terror Squad Air Force Ones. Yes.
I like that.
But getting into the new creator of the week, which is none other than Adrian Pear. I think it's Purr. Sorry, Adrian Purr, right? Amazing storyteller, amazing creator. And when you see and hear his videos, you will see why he's creator of the week.
Sound design. Let's talk about it. Everything you hear around me, other than my voice, isn't real. Let me show you. First, let's take away the crowd, birds, the cars in the background, the clanking of utensils and plates, and finally, the room tone that ties this all together. Now, all you can hear is my voice, isolated thanks to this tiny little microphone. And today, I'm gonna show y'all how to do this for free with the gear you already have. Y'all ready? So all you're gonna need is a portable audio recorder. And thanks to modern technology, we all already have one. We can do this with our phones. What I do to record high quality audio to use later in my sound design for my edits, open up the voice memo recorder, hit record, and hold your phone up to whatever you need to record audio from. Whether that be a car door closing, the ambiance of the street, typing in your computer, pouring a glass of water, whatever it is, that's it. When it's time for you to bring it into your edit, just send the files directly from your phone to your computer, import it, and drag it into your timeline.
So, as you heard and saw, storytelling is crazy, quality is crazy, and he's consistent with what he does. And so I was like, yo, I just gotta, there's no other real reason besides it just looks and sounds dope. And so, shout out to Adrian for being this week's creator of the week. And going into the how-to section that we have, I don't know if we're going to call it anything else, but that's what it is for now. Since we have been saying this word several times, figured, you know what? Why don't we do how to do storytelling as a personal brand, right? When we're talking about not only our own brand story, but as well as storytelling in our content, this is going to create connection with our audience and more understanding of what we're trying to do. Instead of just going, hey, I have water, this is water, go buy water, people connect more with what is the purpose of the water? Why did you start this whole water company? What is the transformation that it's going to give, right? So we have different lessons from top entrepreneurs about how to do storytelling in your brand. So the first one comes from, what's her name? Katie Q. I'm not even going to do it. Katie Q, right? Talking about why you should get into storytelling.
you are the main part of something, you have to tell your story. You need to be able to share that story and talk about who you are. Now, I know that that's kind of like tricky and feels a little bit like, maybe is that too much information? But what's important here is that you know how to talk about moments in your life and things that have shaped you. You do not need to tell the entire story. Let me tell you, you do not need to come on and do a 19-minute YouTube video on here is my story. You really have to do the hard work of whittling and condensing and concising the information in order to evoke emotion and really meet with a brand. And when that, meet with your brand values. When that happens, it's really successful.
Key part, you don't have to tell the whole story. I think that's super key right there. That's a lesson that honestly we all had to learn. I know for sure I learned myself, because when you think about the phrase itself, tell your story, immediately you're thinking, well, sure enough, I should have to share every detail that transpired that got me from exactly 5 to where I am now. I have to tell you in chronological order, if you will. But the truth is, I think that's part of the growing pains of becoming a great storyteller. I've said it many times on the podcast where I said you have to practice and be consistent enough to get all of the bad reps out of you, because you're not going to start being a phenomenal storyteller. I mean, at least not everyone. Most of us start with having to condense, edit, delete, remove, copy and paste, and get to the parts that you find the greatest reaction. Now, I think the beauty of public speaking, going to open mics, while as much as that may sound crazy, is you get live feedback that you don't receive from social media. And I'm going somewhere with this, but when you think about it, when you're speaking in front of a group, which is probably the number one thing that everyone fears is, oh my God, I'm going to share my story or talk about something personal, private, whatever it is, in front of a group of people, maybe even a group of strangers. What are they going to say? What are they going to think about me? Yes, that may be fearful for some, but the beautiful thing about it is if you can overcome that fear, you get live feedback on the spot to let you know what people respond to the most. It's the same reason why comedians like Kevin Hart and all these different people, they will go to all the comedy clubs, right, in a certain area to try new material. And they're looking for that live feedback to ultimately take the best jokes and package those up to become their special on Netflix, or the thing that they really go public with. So for whoever is listening to this and you're, in that same boat of saying, man, you know what? Okay, I probably should go live with my story or go public with my story or start infusing more stories into it. Really try to find some opportunities that you can show up and get live feedback on your story so that you can refine it and do it multiple times to ultimately have something really, really powerful to share. So there it is.
I like that. Now, the next tip comes from one of our favorite creators, Colin and Samir, going more into the formula of storytelling.
Where the creators of South Park are speaking to a class, and they said that a really bad story will go like this. It'll go, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And you think, like, that's an extremely boring way to intake information.
Yeah.
And what you want is a story that goes, this happened, but then that happened. Therefore, this happened. So you want some causation between the beats in your story.
I think this is important to know because when we are starting out with storytelling, most of us do go, this is what it is, this is what it did, this is what it did, this is what it did, go get it. I mean, where the way that they just said it is just kind of placing it in different ways. This happened, however, this happened too, which then caused this, and then it did this, which then transformed into this, right? It's just placing it and adding some extra words that will keep people's attention. One of the clips that we're going to go into later is going to break it down even more, but where anytime that we write a story out, right? And especially when it comes to our brand and our content, I do suggest that we kind of write it out or at least bullet point it and not just full-blown freestyle, unless you are nice like that, then shout out to you. But write it out and see if you could arrange it to where it kind of keeps people's curiosity. Because at the end of the day, storytelling is making sure people stay curious, stay intrigued, stay engaged. And with that kind of format, then you're able to be like, okay, what else happened? Okay, what else? Tell me more. Instead of, oh, okay. All right. Like, you have a bad story if it's like, all right, cool. It's like, really? You want that engagement that is going to make people want to click the link in the bio, go to your website, go to your YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast. Low-key plug, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do that. And things like that. You know what I mean? So the next one comes from a creator, Vin G. Not even going to mess with his last name either. Vin G, about documenting.
If I asked all of you right now, tell me a story, you all panic. You think I don't have any. But the true answer is that not that you don't have any or that you don't have them. You have so many in your life. It's because you don't document them. To be a great storyteller, you must first become great collectors of stories. So I'll tell you what you do. Start a new note in your iPhone or your Android, though I love iPhones, they're much more superior. Start a new note and just write story bank. And the next time in your life, something that emotionally moves you, capture it. An interaction with a colleague, a story that I shared with you today, if it emotionally moved you, capture it. What did the person say? What happened? Who, what, where, when? Capture the story.
I remember when I first started my speaking career, I definitely learned the hard way about why it's necessary to have a note with all of the different things that happen. And that was the best way. And the fun thing is, you almost find those stories to come out in opportunities or times when you're most pressed for something to say. And it's like, you might not even think about, oh, okay, I'm gonna document this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and share it in this. Like, no, you just put it down, and when you are in a tight position, in need of something to say, those stories come in handy. But yeah, I do think that's great advice nonetheless, just about being mindful enough to document not just what's happening in your life, but document the things that elicit emotion for you and for others. Because if it moved you and it moved somebody else, then you care deeply enough about it to share it with some level of passion, or just some level of, what's the word? Zest? I don't know. I forget the word. Maybe I shouldn't be using it. It sounds too fancy anyway. But you're going to share it in a way. I don't know. It felt fancy to me. I've never used that word. No. There's definitely a word for sharing.
You're right. It is zest, but I'm just saying, isn't zest a soap?
I don't know. Is there a soap called Zest?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I don't know if they still sell it, but
is that not the context to use the word though? I felt like zest is a
you
time
feel zesty. You feel zesty.
Okay. I don't have to go look up the definition. But anyway, I know I shouldn't have never used the word that starts with the letter Z. I feel like words that start with the letter Z is just like, and people forgot about them. That's why they're all the way at the bottom of the dictionary. Let's see. Great enthusiasm, zest, great enthusiasm and energy, or the outer color part of the peel of citrus fruit. Okay, got it. So that makes sense. That's why
using it right
like kind of
in the way you were using it.
I was.
Okay,
it's like it's gonna help you to share with some level of zest and passion, right? It's like great enthusiasm and energy. So there you go.
You don't even know if you were using it right, and you did. Look at that.
That's it. No, I thought I was using it right, but then I looked at your facial expression and I was like, wait, maybe I didn't say it right.
Soap. I'm like, did you just reference a soap?
Branding. That's crazy. That's branding right there. But no, for real, man. I think just pay attention to those. It's like be mindful enough to take inventory of the things that are happening in your life, first and foremost. And then secondly, also be intentional about documenting the things that elicit emotion in you and the person in front of you.
last but not least, as far as the tips for storytelling, we had to go with one of the tips from the creator of the week, because as you heard and saw, his storytelling is crazy. So he may know a few things about how to do storytelling, especially when it comes to content.
First, stop worrying about the outcome, the views, follows, every superficial thing. Take that shit and throw it out the window. We're gonna tell a story solely based off of your genuine, authentic point of view, not based off of what you think people will like. That is step 0. Now, step 1. Get right into it. Drop right into the premise. No calls to action, no introduction to yourself or your channel. Those first 5 seconds are so important. Do not waste it on worthless information. Nobody cares who you are. They want to be either entertained or educated. Step 2, the plot. What's the issue? What are you solving? What are you trying to overcome? Stories fall flat without the continuous rise in interest, done with tension. Avoid a plot that unfolds like we did this, then we did this, then we did this afterwards. We need purpose. What happened here that led you to the next scene? How is your story evolving? A perfect story is a boring story. The final step is resolution. Once you've reached the pinnacle, the climax of your story, did we solve it? Did we win? Lose? Did we learn? We need a conclusion.
So let's break that down. One, the fact that he said, let's not even pay attention to the views, the engagement. That shouldn't really drive anybody to why they create content, right? Why they are even telling this story. Now, one of the things that I've even been a victim to, and even thinking about it now, of like, how do we address introducing the podcast, is the introduction, right? I've seen, oh man, I was going to mention a name and I'm just going to leave that alone, right? I'm just going to leave it alone. But there are people that you've probably seen, especially in short form content, that are saying, hi, my name is so and I am this, and then gets into the meat and potatoes of things. We have to think about that. New people don't know us, right? And when people don't know us, that doesn't mean we have to let them know who we are. We have to give them the value straight up, right? So they don't care who you are. You may be amazing. All of us are amazing that listen to this podcast. If you don't listen to this podcast, then you're not that amazing. But all of us are amazing, but we don't have to tell people off bat that we are. So we have to give them, we got to go straight to it. We got to give them the value. Then, as you heard, like, don't do then this, then this, then this, then this, just like how Colin Samir spoke earlier. Let's not create the perfect story. Let's create something that raises some eyebrows, maybe brings some controversy, maybe makes people laugh in some way, shape, or form. Try to evoke some type of emotion inside of your story. Now, and this applies to all different brands, right? This isn't just for an entertaining situation. Like, Nikki, I'm not funny. Okay, I'm not asking you to be funny. I'm asking you to evoke some type of emotion, right? That could be curiosity. That could be fear. That could be laughter. That could be, thinking of some way, shape, or form. So, but it always has to end at, what do they get out of this? What is the purpose? And then how do they get to that purpose, right? So between Colin Samir and Adrian, that's going to give you the formula. Between Heather and Vin, I think that's his name. Is that Vin? Yeah, Vin. They're pretty much telling you the why to do it, as well as how easily you can do it with documenting, right? And one thing I didn't say in the documenting part is get out of your own head as well, because some things we don't think is like dope. So why would I document? This is not interesting, right? This is not, oh, this happened. I don't got to write that down. I think as creatives, having some type of journal of some way, shape, or form is so useful, not only for self, but for creating content as well, because you may get inspired based off something that has happened to you, and you can turn it into some type of content, right? I try to create content based off things that make me laugh now. If you go on my page, I go give value all day. And then I was like, you know what? Let's do stuff that make me laugh. I did that. It went crazy. So sometimes things that make you laugh, make you think, write that down, showcase that, and it'll be really dope piece of content or part of your brand that people may really appreciate. Moose, what you think about these tips?
The dude Adrian is a phenomenal creator, by the way. I was waiting for you to ask me with the drum roll, like, do you know this person?
My bad,
I was like, I hope she
bad.
asked me because I finally know. But he's really great creator. I've seen his content multiple times and the consistency of it too. So that's been really dope. But no, it's phenomenal, man. I personally have been in that mode right now where I've kind of taken another step back because I feel as though I proved to myself I can be super consistent if I wanted to. I was posting every single day at one point. Then I kind of pulled back because I think you and I see eye to eye on this a lot, that whenever you feel that what you're doing is a part of or similar to what everybody else is doing, it doesn't become as fun to do. Not to say that it's not important, but it's just not as fun to do. I don't know, maybe it's that only child syndrome or something.
I want to do what everybody's doing.
Right. I don't want to do that. So I find myself back in that mode where
I hate that
I'm
mode.
thinking,
you know
it's
what?
terrible.
I really hate it because I feel like
it's terrible.
I could probably be further if I did certain things, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yep.
It's so weird.
Same. And that's why I know you and I say eye to eye on this, because I know for me, I felt that I was like, yeah, but it's like everybody else. I don't want to do that. I was like, all right, let me. So I'm in that mode now, and truth be told, storytelling is one of the things that I'm really trying to find a pocket to implement, but do it with some level of consistency. Because, I think if you really tried, especially if it's not a part of your brand, if you really tried, you can throw in some stories and they probably will do really, really well, because especially if your audience is not accustomed to hearing or getting stories from you like that. But the goal is to figure out how to keep them going, on the long haul. So I'm in that mode. So very helpful stuff.
I like it. Let us know if this was helpful to you, if you are going to now start putting a little bit of energy towards storytelling when it comes to your brand and when it comes to your content. Now, let's get into the question of the week. And this one is brought to you by another Aaron. And they're both tall.
Oh, shout out to the Aarons.
Right, I know. But this one's good. All right. People get ready. If the price to be successful in your business cost you your personal life, would it be worth it? Now, let me give you a disclaimer. Your personal life is blah. Like, it's not, like, if you're having an amazing personal life right now, it's not that, okay? Not that. It's just a blah, regular smegular, no real highs, no real lows.
That's hilarious.
Just like,
just going.
Me.
All right, here's a question. Does that include your health? Does the blah personal life include the health?
Your health is fine. We're not gonna mess with the health. We're not gonna.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure.
And it's not like you're gonna die in cancer later. Like, I'm not that deep. It's not like
I should have known bringing that up to you, because I know you're gonna go to death. I've never said anything related to that where Nikki doesn't just go to straight death. It's like just die. There's no in between with her. She's gonna go straight to death. All right, got it.
I'm saying.
Blah personal life and your health is good. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're saying about health, I mean, eventually, if your health is bad, you're gonna die. But I mean, what else is? I guess okay. What do you want? Chronic pain? I'm not. Okay, whatever. Fine. I'm sorry. Health is good. Blah life. All right. Blah life. So,
Got it.
Moose, what would you do?
I would say you got to go for it. I would say you got to go for it.
For the
And by
business
go
or
for it, I mean
personal?
business. You gotta go for the
Really?
business. Yeah, 100%. If it's up to no good, then you got to go for it. So I'll give you my understanding to this. So,
Well, wait. What's your
last couple-
definition of blah? How about that? What was you?
I mean, just very basic. Like, it's not nothing special is going on. I think no. Here's the better way to say it. Blah to me is you don't know your purpose yet.
Okay.
That's how I would. That's how I would define it. It's you're not clear on what your purpose is, so you don't feel something meaningful enough to keep you engaged. I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Now,
Yeah.
okay. Wait. One more question before you go deeper into the.
Okay.
So, but if you go more towards the success of the business, is it more because of the hopes of what your personal life could look then?
Yeah, I think you can get a better quality personal life if you have, your business and purpose established. It's like once you're clear on that, you can now build a personal life to match it.
No, you have no personal life. You just have the business.
Well, I mean, at some point, the goal is to get the business stable enough to be able to go and retain. Look, she's like, no.
Nope, that's perfect
No
scenario in
personal
your
life.
head. In this question, it's business or personal life.
Yeah, no, I mean, still, I would still opt for the business because I'm, and I know we're trying to like make it specific to like only choose one, but the reality is, if that's what the personal life feels like, I don't know that anything will. I don't want to say anything, but to be a part of something that brings meaning and fulfillment, to feel that you are building, creating, or a part of something that is bringing impact or change to the world, or you're adding value or serving others, I think that is equally as important as having a great personal life, whether that be like life work balance. And again, it's a very vague thing to say around personal life because that can include a lot of things, right? And that's why I mentioned the thing about health or relationships, et cetera. But to me, I don't think it's difficult to say that you don't develop as a person being a part of something really, really well organized or fulfilling professionally. The two almost go hand in hand. So if I'm getting fulfilled professionally, I am better equipped to build my personal life. That's just how I see it, Nick. So I'm curious to know your answer though, because you don't seem to be down with the vibe. You trying to get me to change my answer? Is that what you're doing? You trying to get me?
I haven't said a single thing I said in the beginning, and I left it alone. I was like,
okay,
he's gonna go wherever he wants to go with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I disagree. I can't. I actually will go with the blah personal life rather than having the success of business. Let me break down why. A successful business will cost relationships. A successful business, based off this question, that's just saying in general, based off this question, success with my business will cost a distance with my family. Though relationships in the family may not be super exciting, they're extremely important. I've seen too many people that have been super successful in their business, got everything that they want, but their personal life is trash. Now, if the question said, price of success in your business will cost your personal life, but once you get more successful, you get everything that you want. That's a different story. But if I'm going based off seeing that if we're going more towards business or personal life, I'm gonna go with the personal life because I've done the business route and it's cost a lot of my personal life that I can't get back. And though the career has gone crazy, gotten extreme opportunities for certain things, there are certain things that I wish I would have done different in order to at least create a what's the word that I'm looking for? A kosher relationship, right? With certain individuals that you can still call on. That maybe a closer relationship with certain people in my family, but I was so focused on the business and it worked. But if you're saying, hey, your personal life is cool, it's kosher, that's it, blah. I mean, nothing crazy's happening. You're not going to crazy events. You're not balling, but you're not broke. You know what I mean? Like, you're not driving the Tesla. You're not driving the BMW. You're not driving the really expensive foreign. You continue driving the Honda. That's it. You're not going further than the Honda. I'm gonna be okay with that. I think I'm gonna be okay with that. Because that doesn't necessarily mean that my business is failing. That may mean my business may just be chilling. It's not super successful, but it may be chilling.
Yeah.
Now, if it said failed business, blah, personal life. Oh, hold on. But then that also goes back to I have skills, and even if the business was to fail and entrepreneurship is not for me, I don't see that happening, but you never know, whatever. My 9-to-5 skills is still crazy because of my IT background. I'm good. Either way, you can put me back in the little cubicle kind of situation with an IT job. Really? Low key? The only problem with that is that I was cold all the time. That's it.
Corporate companies definitely be cold.
Freezing.
Yeah, that's real. I don't know, man. I think, at the end of the day, here's how I look at it. I think success is a very subjective definition. It changes and varies depending on who you ask. I believe personally that a lot of personal fulfillment comes from having a professional purpose, that
You're very business
there's
driven
just
too, though.
No, I mean, I'm not. So I am, because I understand business. Business is something that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say driven toward, but I definitely enjoy business. And I personally have just noticed people feel better about themselves because they feel that they're contributing to the world. And I'll just label that as a professional purpose, if you will. So that's the only reason why I took the path that I took. Now, there's a lot of rules to this question, though. You kind of put some fine print on this question, so it makes it difficult or a little tricky to answer. But
because you go, well, shoot, get rid of the blah life. I'm gonna create the better life. No, you don't have personal life. You get no personal life, none. You go.
So hold on. So what was this person doing with their business while living their blah personal life? Because it sounds to me like it's a blah business and a blah personal life.
It's a blah business and a blah personal life.
But that's just average,
just
like
blah,
across the board.
Right.
I would like if you would have told me, hey, personal life is just, booming. I'm not going super hard in the business, so I got so much time dedicated to the personal life that health is in check, emotion, mentals is solid, relationships are just off the chain. Then I would have been like, oh, that's a tough choice. But blah, it just makes it so easy to say, I mean, if there's blah, like you're not missing out on much. You might as
But
well
you
just
won't have a personal life. So which
For a
can mess
season.
which can mess
season,
with your
you
mental.
come back later.
Huh?
I said if it's for a season and you come back and say,
Nothing
hey,
is. Where
you
did
know
he
I
say for
love
a
you.
season? Where did he say for a season?
No. I'm just expanding on it. I'm just saying, like in the reality of life, it's like, yo, it's for a season. You can go back and you be like, hey, you know I love you, right? You know I love you, right? And I had to do this for us, right? That's how it starts.
Hold on now, because that opens up a whole different situation. Because
Yeah.
some people are not accepting of that.
Mm.
Some people are not accepting. If they didn't get with you in that season and you switch it up, you're asking them to be like, yo, follow me with this. You didn't sign up for this, but follow me with this. That could cause some
can see that.
situations.
Yeah, I can see that. That's fair. I can see that.
Your intentions are pure, but
Yeah.
some people, it depends on the person's love language. If the love language is quality time and you take that out, money and success is not going to be their new love language. They're not going to possibly understand. You're lowering their that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
I know
no,
this.
I know
this
exactly
topic
where you're
very-
coming with from that. That's why I'm going to park my car right here and say, all right, cool.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
But it's for us. Hold on, but it's great.
Yeah.
We're gonna be successful.
I love you, right? I mean, yeah, usually, I love you, right? Yeah.
I love. You're gonna be not saying in this hypothetical speaking scenario. I'm not labeling this Moose. This first Moose in this hypothetical speaking situation is going to be the father that's like, here you go, Daddy. Where you going? I'll be back. I got. You see this? You like this stuff? Got to get more of this, Daddy.
Right.
Daddy. Okay. Watch. In that hypothetically speaking scenario, people, he's not like that in real life. Highly documented on his dad life. Well, his wife is highly documenting him in his dad life. So I'm just saying. Anyways, yeah. Let us know what you would pick. Okay, would you pick the blah personal life or the successful business life that can then result into depression? And no friends. I mean,
No friends.
No friends. Your parents don't know you no more. I just want to, just those things. It's like, what's the values? I'm surprised. Okay, let's go back to it. I'm surprised. You're a family man. Like, one of your values is family.
Yeah, but again, my personal, like, I literally have my my pillars, right? And my pillars help me to understand in what order to do life, right? Again, forgive me if this sounds super like extreme, like, whoa, life, that sounds crazy, but it helped sum it up for me, right? I'll give it to you in 2.5 minutes, maybe less. I got sick 2 years in a row on the first and second days of Ramadan, probably 3 years in a row, actually. There's something was happening during that time. And that's a season for me that I hold near and dear to my heart. I come off every season way better, at least in my own opinion.
Yes.
I love it. And so I felt that was a reminder for me, or a lesson, to stop neglecting my health and to stop being on an on and off relationship with the Creator. So, if you're a believer, be a believer full time. Stop this like side piece believing and all this stuff. You got to believe all the time. So it helped me to establish some of the categories. Number 1, God. Number 2, your health, because without those two, everything else, honestly, is not guaranteed. But after that, and it really varies on the season, and I literally put it that way even in my own journals, your purpose and your family. And the reason why I'm saying it in that order is because there are times where your family follows purpose, not because you're sacrificing your purpose, or not because you're sacrificing your family, but because I know the type of person I become when I feel as though I'm not being productive or doing something meaningful. You know, a big part, and I guess maybe it's the traditional man definition, and I don't know if this is healthy or unhealthy, so forgive me, but I always have felt that my role as a man in the house is to also provide. You know, so part of that is you have to be locked into your purpose. Now, again, they take turns. You know, sometimes family will take priority over purpose. Other times purpose has to take priority. But I do think that for me, I've always been happiest when I am making great contributions and developing professionally. And so when it's time to do the family thing, I'm so alive for the family thing that there is no sacrificing the two. So that's how I've kind of come to that conclusion. So yeah, I love my family, but I do love what I do for a living, man. It's super fulfilling.
I like that.
Hey.
I'm not changing my answer, but I like that.
Nah.
Anyways, people, one, appreciate you listening to this whole episode. Two, go check out the after show. Okay, we've been having like content therapy and business therapy. It's very dope over there, right? Three, follow us on social media. Please, please, please. This is what I will ask. Please leave a review and share the podcast. Okay. We haven't asked that for a minute. Please leave a review. Apple Podcast, Spotify, you can leave a rating. I think it's called Pod Chasers. You can leave a review over there, or bare minimum, go to nickyandmoose.com. You could leave a review right on the actual website. And Moose, final words.
Yeah, so this one is a word with a question I want you guys to think about this week. But, you know, there are two things that a lot of us do regularly: work and learn. But I want you to think about, when's the last time you've taken the time to actually improve those things? How you work and how you learn, right? So work smarter, find a more efficient way to learn. Ultimately, that's how you continue to grow as a person.